Hi, it's Kendall again, here to rebut the arguments against Catalonia's independence. So, to sum up the arguments against Catalonia gaining independence, one argument is that several of the regions of Spain have a somewhat distinct culture, and that allowing Catalonia to have their own independent state would cause these other regions to want to gain independence from Spain as well, and that Catalonia is not a special case. Another argument is that Catalonia is one of the wealthiest regions in Spain, and they give more taxes than they receive back. So it's not entirely a culturally driven argument, that they just want it for their own economic gains. And a third argument is that Europe would become too much like the Balkans, where it's all broken up tiny countries, where they all have their own distinct cultures, and they're like these tiny little spots. And so there'd be like dozens of countries in Europe rather than like the 35 or whatever it is right now. So the thing is, we're going to start first with the different regions in Spain. So the thing is, other regions do vary slightly from the generic Spanish culture, but so do regions in America, like we've got the South, Midwest, Northeast, all of those. And Catalonia is different because it literally has its own separate language from Spanish, along with entirely separate traditions and history. And it's not just like a whiny child wanting independence from its parents. It has a completely unique identity. And Catalonia is a special case because it's not the same as being a Spanish person. You're a Catalan. It's something entirely separate. And yes, Catalonia is one of the wealthiest regions of Spain, and that could definitely be one of the motivators for wanting independence, but it's not the only one. Because why should they pay billions of dollars or euros in taxes and then not reap the benefits of it? Because they pay billions and they only receive a fraction of what they pay back. And if they were their own country, they wouldn't have to worry about losing money in taxes. They could delegate where everything went, and they wouldn't have to worry about paying back poor regions of their country. Regions that they have nothing in common with, regions that entirely rely on their own money. In the case of balkanization of Europe, it could definitely be a genuine concern. Dozens of tiny countries, all these tiny countries would be too small and too poor to support themselves, like we see with Greece and Kosovo and all those countries where they're kind of war-torn and generally poor. But there aren't all that many other cases in Europe of regions wanting independence for their main country. The only two that I can really think of are Catalonia and Scotland. And then Catalonia, like I said before, is a special case. All the other regions that could possibly want independence don't really have the same qualifications, I guess, as Catalonia, because they're not their own separate culture. They're like a subset of the main culture. Or they already have independence, like the Balkans, where they separated Yugoslavia based on ethnic groups rather than bunching together like a dozen different groups. And one of my classmates said that Catalonia isn't currently being oppressed by the Spanish culture, so they shouldn't really want independence in that case. Like, that's not a solid argument. And while that's kind of true that they're currently not being oppressed like they were under Franco, but that's not a guarantee that it won't happen again in the future. And the best way to protect against this is to have an independent state from Spain where they can dictate what they want to do without having to worry about being oppressed again in the future. So Catalonia does deserve to have independence.